and welcome to your messages for the week. I'm not sure why I call them messages for the week, because I am pretty convinced that they are just messages and the right people will hear them at the right time for the right reasons. So these are your messages which happen to be recorded and shuffled and read on today is Saturday, the 10th of June, 2023. So this is when I'm doing it, but the messages are for you if they resonate and for you when they resonate. There you go. How about that for a little bit of a change? Okay, I hope you're enjoying June so far. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of June, then check out the video for that. It was all about check now. It was all about what does your soul want you to know. I do so many videos that I get confused between what they're all called. What does your soul want you to know? So that was the June messages. I'll put a link in the description and the video in the end screen for you if you haven't already seen them. So take a deep breath down to the belly, close your eyes, activate your own intuition. We say take a deep breath, but actually exhale as much as you inhale, obviously. So you're going to inhale beautifully and slowly down to the belly and then expanding the chest and the heart. Do it a few times. I always think 3 is the magic number because you can consciously open your rib cage to allow more life force. And then by the 3rd one, I'm understanding that my heart is opening as well to allow more life force. It's all about allowing more life force into the cells of your body. The more life force, that's the more prana, the more, light, love, whatever you want to call it. But it is the power that forces us. It's where we get our energy from. It's us. It's who we are. It's the all that is. It's pure consciousness. Oh, so many different words for it. That's why breath work is so powerful. I think that's it. We've got 4 today, which is a little bit different from normal. Okay, let's dive in. They're all face down. Okay, we're getting the King of Swords quite a lot lately, aren't we? And my new interpretation of him, of course, is understanding that the universe is mental. It's the first of the Hermetic Principles. Clearly, we're meant to be looking into the 7 Hermetic Principles. So I will put, again, a link in the description and the video in the end screen for the introduction to the Hermetic Principles that I did with the lovely Liz Nagel. But also to the Kybalion, which is the original book from 1908, which takes it into a lot of detail if you are ready for that. But basically, the King of Swords, he's a thinker. He's the thinking man. You know that statue with the man? He's a thinking man. Because swords are air. It's our mental processes. So that's our inspiration. It's our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas. And the transformation here you can see in the butterfly shows the transformation that we can create in our own world by changing the way we think, by shifting our beliefs. And it's so important. And one of the things I want to say, I was talking to someone yesterday about this, it's words as well, because swords are words. They're communication. And it's the power of words. And I know we've all heard this. And I've talked in my first book, I talk about, which is free to download from my website at deborahjanesutton.com. And that's Heal Yourself to Happiness. I talk about the work of Masaru Emoto, who did all the work with the water molecules and the effect of music and other things, but also the effect of words. He literally put words on it. You'll find a lot of people with their water jugs will put love and gratitude and things like that because words have energy. And we know it on some level because if someone says horrible words to you, you can feel it, But it's more than that. I mean, everything is energy. Everything is energy, including the words that we say. Now, the words that we say that are most damaging to us are things like I can't, or when we affirm something, for example, I have a bad knee, it will never get better. Well, you're right, it won't, if you have that attitude. If you are affirming, okay, that it will never get better, then for you, it won't get better. And I know a lot of people talk about, like, this is the power of affirmations, and I have got a video on that as well. So I'll put a link in the description and the video in the end screen, the power of words and affirmations. And it's also the first chapter of my first book. It's all about affirmations, how important they are, and how to get them to work for you. Now, I understand in the very beginning, we just think it's empty. It's like, oh, I'm just saying these words. And usually when we say affirmations, we're saying what we want to aspire to, what we want to have come true. And we're not resonating with the frequency of that phrase or that affirmation because we're experiencing the opposite. So it often doesn't feel comfortable to say it because we're not in alignment with it. That's why we're repeating it. And we can just think, oh, this is silly because what I'm saying isn't true. I remember the first 10 affirmations, I think it was 8. I worked in groups of 8 for some reason. And this is years ago when I was reading the book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. She's a big fan of affirmations. She's the queen of affirmations, I think. And I just picked 8. I don't know, randomly. I can't remember why I picked them. And none of them were true in the beginning. It was things like, I love myself, so I feed myself nourishing foods and beverages. I mean, sometimes, but definitely not always, and it was things like, I love myself, so I work in a place where I am respected and appreciated. And I definitely didn't feel like that where I was working. So they weren't true for me, in the beginning. And I didn't have a lot of belief in them. I really didn't. And I carried on repeating them and I learned them by heart. And I wrote them down at every opportunity and would say them in the mornings and in the evenings and when I was cleaning my teeth and that when I was swimming or whatever I was doing, I would just keep repeating them. And I just thought to myself in the beginning that the good thing about them is that while I'm repeating them to myself, I cannot be thinking negative things. Although some people disagree with that and they'll say, while you're repeating something that isn't true for you, you are thinking negative things because you're thinking about how that isn't true for you. So I understand the challenges to starting using affirmations. But the reason I'm so passionate about it is because on an energy level, they do work. But you have to kind of keep going with them. You have to keep going with them. And it must have been a few months later that I was swimming in the pool, and I just remember thinking, hang on a minute, all these affirmations are true now. I was like, they really are true, and I felt like they were true. And I remember having this kind of self-realization came up, and this wave of energy came over me. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to pick another 8 affirmations. It's like picking another 8 dreams. Pick another 8 dreams that you want to come true. And then I started really believing in them. And I was like, wow, there's something to this. And for me personally, they are really powerful. Some people find them more useful than others. I think it depends on your soul's profile. And those of us that have dominant 5th energy centers, we like words, we like using words, and language has substance for us. So, they might be more effective for some people than others. But after a few years now, I understand that I am just affirming it. I'm not repeating it to believe it. I'm just telling myself this is the way it is. So I was using an affirmation the other day that came to me, and as soon as I finished saying it, stuff came up that put me in alignment with it. Because what's happening is when you say an affirmation, there's energy, there's a frequency, there's a level of consciousness to that sentence, that phrase, or that word. And if you're not in alignment with it, if you're not vibrating at that frequency, that's why it feels uncomfortable, especially when you're saying things like, I love and accept myself. That's why it's better to start with, I'm willing to love and accept myself. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't willing, at least. But what happens is that in order for you to align with that, stuff has to come up that is stopping you from believing whatever the affirmation is. But that stuff that's coming up is the stuff that you want to process and release from your energy field, right? So if you are doing, I love and accept myself, that stuff that comes up is what's stopping you from loving yourself. So you might feel like crying, of course. You might feel like crying, you might feel like laughing. A lot of people love, especially if you do it in the mirror. Look in the mirror and tell yourself how much you love yourself. You could cringe. I used to cringe in the beginning. But after a while, when it becomes true, when you start resonating with that frequency, then it starts becoming a joy. And then when you say that affirmation, it expands you because you're in alignment with it. And then it feels really good. So it is a process, but you know, if you keep on at it, you can actually install affirmations as quickly as you're ready to. I am ready and willing. That's a good one. I am ready and willing to do whatever it is. I am ready and willing to love myself. I am ready and willing to change my life. I am ready and willing. I've also got a video on the importance of willingness. So I'll put a link in the description of the video in the end screen to that as well. But one of the most powerful words that is detrimental, okay, for you is the word can't. And if you were to learn to sway test, have I got to still put that in the description as well? Who's not learning to sway test? You can't follow me for long and not learn to sway test. When we sway test and we say I can, we go forward because it's an expansive phrase. The word I can, you know, it's the solar plexus. I can do it. It's a positive, expansive vibration. Okay. But if you say I can't, you go backwards because it's a contracting. You're limiting yourself. You're literally limiting yourself. And I thought, well, how do we get around this? Because sometimes, especially the phrase, I can't afford it. I can't afford it has such a low frequency to it. And I thought, you know, when I was like a single mom and what have you, and loads of things I couldn't afford, I'm like, how do I get around this? You know, but I used phrases like, it's not my priority at the moment. Or I use phrases like, I don't have the budget for that at the moment. At least I'm not using the word can't, you know. So there's other ways of being able to communicate without using these detrimental words. Because when you say I can't, and it's like Henry Ford said, forget him as a person, but the quote was really spot on. You know, if you think you can or you think you can't, you will be right both times. There is so much truth in that. And I find here in Spain, what's interesting is the verb to be able to, or the verb can in Spanish is the same word as power, poder. It's the same word as power. And I was like, I had a little bit of a realization with that. And I was like, oh, wow. And it's true. Our power lies in believing we can do things. And it's like, if you don't believe you can self-heal, then for you, you won't be able to self-heal. We have to believe in the things that are going to serve us. We have to believe that our dreams are going to come true. We have to believe in miracles to create them. Because what's happening is a lot of people are looking at the world that we're in the density, right, with all the problems that go along with it. And we're feeling the struggle. We're feeling all the things that we can't do, the things that we want to do. And we can't, we can't change something from the level of being in it like that. You know, we have to believe in something better, because you can't see the solution when you're in the density like that. You can't see the solution because you're too busy looking at all the limitations. And I can't do this and I can't do that and I've got to do this and I should do this, and you're all stuck there, right? We have to believe that we can fulfill our dreams. We have to believe that our higher self is guiding us on our divine path. We have to believe that to get out of the density. And when you realize that you are creating your reality from the beliefs that you have, really listen to what you're saying. Are you saying that someone will never change, things will never change? A number of people that I've spoken to, and they'll say, oh, not in my lifetime. That's not going to happen. You can't change that. You know, I remember complaining to my mum decades ago about the banks. And oh, that's what banks do. That's the way they are. You know, you'll never change that. You can't change this, you can't change that. It's like, oh my goodness me. We need to understand that we are creating our own reality and that we are the only people that can change it. We are the only people who can change our reality. Nobody else can change your reality for you. Nobody's going to come in and wave a magic wand and say, okay, you can self-heal now. Okay, you can love yourself now. Okay, your life's going to improve now. No, only you can do that. Oh, I got quite passionate there. So no more using the word can't, no more saying negative things about yourself, about it can never happen. You have to believe in miracles. And one of the most powerful affirmations, I've shared this before, but I think it's really relevant, is I am ready and willing to allow my full potential. And then you have to take what comes to you. Open up to the power of your higher self, to the power of the all that is, the all that isness, that source, that's all of who you are, not just the beautiful human that you're presenting to the physical world as, the beautiful human that you're expressing your soul through in this lifetime. You are so much more than that. You're a multidimensional being. I can't go through all of that now. So if you're interested in learning more about your multidimensional nature, and what makes it, I'll put a link in the description of the video in the end screen to the Everything is Energy. It's the first video on my Lessons in Awakening, 20-minute bite-sized chunks of videos on waking up to the power of who you really are, basically. So yes, where do we get to with that? Must be time for the next card. Yes, the Chariot. So they're face down, so I don't know what's coming. So everything I've said about this, the power of your words, everything, the affirmations, the understanding, the opening yourself up, allowing the universe to bring you what your soul wants, which might not be what your human wants, because our humans are stuck in programming. I want a big house and I want to, have this and have that and everything else. Well, that's very often human desires, as I can vouch for, because when you open up to what your soul wants for you, it might be a completely different picture, like it was for me, a completely different picture. I had no idea that I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing. And oh my goodness me, I've never felt so fulfilled. I've never felt so abundant in my life. I've never felt so much purpose and so much drive and so much joy and love and everything else. And I had no idea that I was meant to be doing what I'm doing. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is because very often when we think about what it is that our dreams are, we don't think big enough. And we don't know, because even when we think, we're in the fourth dimensional mental energy body, and we haven't been brought up to think in miracles. We have to think in miracles because we are the creators and we can create them. But the only thing that's stopping us is we don't believe we can. So when you get this power, the power of the King of Swords, when he's mastered his thoughts, and he's realized the power of his communication, the power of his words, the power of affirmations, the power of opening up to the divine. It takes you, right? Movement, the Chariot, Major Arcana card. It takes you out of the duality and judgment of the third dimension, I want to say. And he's about moving on, but not so much physically moving on. He's about moving on to another level of consciousness, which often will manifest in the physical world as being moving on physically. There is a moving on physically card in the deck. This one, Major Arcana, he is about bringing heaven. You see the stars on his canopy, bringing heaven to earth. Bring those miracles into your physical reality. So when you're sitting there saying, I can't do this, and my life, sucks because of this, and I want to change this, and I want to change this, and I'm fighting for it, and all this stuff that's going on. We want to bring heaven to earth, and it's only us that can do it. We are the bridge between heaven and earth. You are the only bridge that can bring heaven to your physical reality. There is only you that can bring your version of heaven on earth into physical form. And when we all do that, that's how we create heaven on earth in the collective. And one of the reasons you'll find really conscious people living out in the countryside as hermits on their own is because they're creating their version of heaven on earth. And we're getting communities together. I know a lot of communities that are coming together, creating their version of heaven on earth. And they're cutting away from the systems that are, they're cutting away from the media. They're cutting away from a lot of the online stuff, a lot of the stories going on in the matrix, a lot of that low frequency stuff, because it's like the all that is, the consciousness, the all that is, it's like an ocean. Okay. And it all exists. You can't stop it from existing. It's energy. But what you can do is here it's dark and murky and not very nice. And there's some creatures there that are not very pleasant, right? And you're swimming there and it's cold and dark and scary. Okay. But you can just move yourself out of there, stop looking at that, turn around and start looking at what you want. I can see the sun coming through the water. So let's go up towards that. The water is warmer. It's cleaner. Oh my God, I want to go over to where it's cleaner, purer water, like cleaner, purer words, using higher frequency words, more conscious words as you're swimming in the ocean of consciousness. And then you're going to heal yourself because you're like, I'm going to focus on what I want. And then you find other fish or whatever in the ocean. And it's beautiful and it's clean and it's beautiful and clean. And other people like you. But you haven't eradicated the dirty, dark bits. You've just taken yourself to another part of consciousness. You've taken yourself to another level of consciousness. You've taken yourself to another part of the all that is, because everything exists. But you only get to experience that which you resonate with. So by changing your words, it's one of the biggest ways that we can swim away from the dark stuff and start being grateful. Gratitude, chapter 2, book 1, link in the description. And we can start using words that are grateful. We can start using more loving words to other people and to ourselves, most importantly. Obviously, I'm willing to love myself. I'm willing to make changes. I am willing to try affirmations, even if I think they don't work. Because this is how you change your reality. You change your frequency. There's loads of ways that we can raise our frequency. Okay, I can't cover them all in one video, but he is telling me that we need to talk the way that we want to live. Okay, we need to speak in terms that sometimes people say advanced gratitude. Talk about things as if you already have them. Okay, and be grateful for all the things in your life that you are happy about. But he is very much about bringing the consciousness level of heaven into physical form, into our physical world, into that ocean of consciousness, so that we can then enjoy the love, the peace, the harmony, and all the things that you can do. Then you can create your miracles. Then we create heaven on earth. Okay. A little reminder here, 7 of Swords. He's stealing the swords. He's mastered his swords. So you're going to start on this road. You might start with affirmations. I mean, how quickly you go down this road of awakening. This is the second great awakening, understanding the way that you create your own reality is the most important thing, right? But he's stealing communication. He's stealing the swords. Typically, this card is about people that you can't trust, and it's about deceit and deception. But we have to understand that if there's deceit and deception and people that are not trustworthy in your physical reality, they are reflecting back to you the parts of you that you do not trust and the parts of you that are being deceiving and deceptive yourself. Now, in my video on how to reprogram your subconscious mind, link in the description. One of the examples I use is I love and accept myself, and the other one is I trust myself completely. So when you trust yourself completely, then you will find that the people outside of you, because they are a reflection of you, right? You are creating the reality outside of you. You are creating the reality outside of you. Even if that makes you think, well, hang on a minute, I'm not creating all that stuff. Well, yes, you are on some level. On some level, there might be a magnifying glass going on over there, magnifying mirror. But there might be some cells in your body whereby you're still being deceiving about something, or you're not trustworthy for some reason. But it's very usually about yourself. You not trusting yourself. And this card is coming up a lot lately to say that you're deceiving yourself. Where are you deceiving yourself? Well, of course you're deceiving yourself if you're telling yourself that you can't do the things that your soul wants you to do. You're being deceiving then, aren't you? You're deceiving yourself if you believe that miracles don't occur. You're deceiving yourself if you believe that you're not good enough. You're deceiving yourself if you think that you can't change your circumstances. You're deceiving yourself if you think you can't heal from a situation. So this card comes up when you're actually deceiving yourself because you've got these beliefs that are not serving you. You really do. We really do have to believe in miracles to see them. And the last card is the Queen of Wands. I love the Queen of Wands because she's my witch. Wands is action in the physical world, which is fantastic because we've been talking about the non-physical air element, the mental energy level, energy body of our energy body. It's the fourth dimensional energy body, whereas she's actually bringing into physical form. So this is what happens. We can manifest through changing our words, changing the way we think, and by raising our level of consciousness out of this duality, right and wrong, good and bad, all of this judgment, all of this stuff. We need to get out of there. It's like Rumi said, there is a field beyond right and wrong. I'll meet you there. Because you are the creator. You get to create whatever you want. So, we can just observe, okay, I created this. It wasn't my best creation. So I'm learning from it. And now I'm going to go and create that. We don't have to judge it or call other people wrong or bad or fault or guilt. I don't like any of those words. They're all very low frequency. We can just observe unconscious behavior. And I've learned from it. Perfect. I'm going to be more conscious in the way that I talk and the way that I create my reality now. I don't have to judge anyone. I don't have to judge myself. I don't have to, we can release all of that judgment. But she is about bringing it all into physical form. Wands are fire, the fire element. She's bold, she's passionate, she's assertive. She gives everything a go. Even affirmations and self-healing techniques that she might have thought in the past were a little bit, woo-woo. But she's giving it all a go. The sunflower represents happiness. And I think of her as a witch because there's her wand and there's her black cat. But she's also a witch because, in the most positive form, because she's assertive, she's sovereign. No one is telling her what to do. And if they tried, it'd probably go over her head. She taps into her natural healing abilities. And she follows her intuition. She makes her own lotions and potions from herbs and plants. Okay, so she's very much connected to Mother Nature. And this is the transformation because fire is the sign of transformation. Okay, it's like the phoenix from the ashes or what have you. So she is very much a sign of tapping into your natural healing abilities, tapping into your intuition, tapping into natural resources for diet and healing and all sorts of things. And she's totally sovereign. Totally sovereign. She doesn't need anybody else. I mean, she has lots of friends and she loves them. They love her. She has a fantastic life, but she doesn't need them. She's independent and she's assertive and she's confident. She's passionate because fire is the passion sign. She's following her passion. She's doing what she wants. She don't care what other people say. So I'm going to do what I want. And that's what's keeping her frequency high. She's amazing. And that's how she's managing to heal herself and to keep her vibration high and to keep her immune system high, I want to say. Because when you're in fear, you know what, I do this with the emotion code. We can measure the immune system and see how much it's functioning. We can often release trapped emotions that are keeping the immune system low. And what I found is that one of the biggest things that compromise the immune system is fear. That's actually Quite obvious in a way, isn't it? But when we're in fear, our immune system is lower. So it's really important to obviously let go of fear, to follow your heart. She definitely follows her heart. Be a witch. Be the Queen of Wands. That was a video recently, wasn't it? Be the Queen of Wands. Yeah, bold and assertive and sovereign, and using your natural healing abilities, following your intuition, and bringing this high level of consciousness, rising above the duality, understanding everything from a soul level, bringing it into physical form, because wands are physical action in the physical world. So we've talked about words, okay, and the power of words, but also understanding that our actions are also, there's thought, word, deed. So our actions are also creating our reality. So we have to make sure that we're doing what our moral compass tells us to do. Are you doing anything? Oh, I don't really want to do it, but I have to because of this, this, and this. My employers are making me do this, this, and this. If you're in a situation where you're doing something that you don't want to be doing and it doesn't sit comfortably with you, remember that by keep on doing it, you are keeping it in your reality. So if you want to change your reality, don't wait for your employers to change on the outside of you. You have to change the way you do things. And that often means walking away from things. But we have to do that because our words and our actions are creating the reality, our reality. And if they're not creating the reality that you want to bring forward into your future, then change them. It's up to you to change your words. It's up to you to change your actions. It's your moral compass. No one else is going to follow your moral compass for you, are they? It's up to you. Gosh, I think I've tapped into my Queen of Wands because I'm feeling quite passionate and quite assertive, I think, with the way I've said all of that. So there you go. Wow. That's quite an assertive week, actually. That could lead to quite a lot of change, I think. Especially the last bit. But yeah, although the last bit is a reflection of the first bit. Change your words. Actions need to be in alignment. Oh, that's a lovely phrase that I heard. What was, oh, no, I've got to think about it. Hang on a minute. Happiness. True happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. That is so true, I think, in today's physical world, shall we say. What you think, what you say, and what you do need to be in harmony. So if you're in a situation where you're thinking one thing, but you're scared to say something, that's not harmony. Or you might be thinking something, saying it, but then your behavior, oh, so you feel like you have to do it, go against your own moral compass. That's not harmony. That's not happiness. True happiness is going to come when what you think and what you say and what you do are in harmony. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it for this week. Wow. Get in touch if you'd like a private reading. And yeah, I think that's it. Check out all the links in the description because there seem to be loads of them. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. There you go. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you all. Have a fantastic week. Bye for now.